Welcome back, everybody, to the Out for Lunch podcast, where we dive into the most pressing topics for you, our partner ecosystem. I'm your host, grifyn.mcerlean. Our special guest today, Jan Gilg, President and Chief Product Officer for Cloud ERP, is a critical leader in one of the most important topics at SAP right now, SAP S/4HANA Cloud Public Edition. Him and I speak about what this revolutionary ERP is, why it's at the core of SAP's overarching strategy, and how partners are key players in this plan along how they benefit from all of this. So please enjoy, and let's find out what Jan is having for lunch.
It's still asparagus time in Germany, which is only a certain period of time during the year, I think until mid or end of June. And the region here is very famous for the asparagus. So I'm basically eating asparagus almost every day right now. It's the white asparagus. So also today I had that actually together with some meat.
Okay, delicious. Awesome. So the topic that we're going to be talking about today is really at the core of SAP's strategy. The CEO, Christian Klein, said at the beginning of 2023 that we're committed to making SAP the number one enterprise application company. So number one in market share, number one in customer satisfaction, number one in customer lifetime value, and number one in portfolio adoption. And along with BTP, our ERP product is really important and really driving a lot of this. So today we're going to be talking about SAP S/4HANA Cloud Public Edition in particular. So for the partners out there listening, Jan, why don't you give a little introduction about what this is?
Yeah. So maybe to relate also to the quote of Christian, I believe in order to be the number one company in enterprise application, we have to be the number one in ERP, because that's really our heritage. And as you know, in order to get there, we do have to bring our install base along, which is very powerful asset that we have, and we certainly don't want to lose. But on the other hand, this will not be enough. We gotta also look into the market and the market size, which is tremendous, and we have to find ways to grow. And that is where S/4HANA Cloud Public Edition comes into play, because this is a true SaaS ERP solution that helps customers to really manage some of the challenges that they have, and specifically customers that are willing to standardize to a very high degree and adopt what we call a best practice that SAP delivers with the solution. So S/4HANA Cloud Public Edition comes basically pre-configured with best practice configuration content. Therefore, it can be up and running rather quickly, and we really want to enable companies to be live in a very short period of time and then actually run their business, but also give them then the flexibility so that they can adjust and change to the changing environment, which we are seeing quite a bit. And therefore, we also offer very powerful extensibility options, primarily based on the business technology platform. So this is really inseparable. So the S/4HANA Public Cloud solution always comes with the business technology platform as an extension layer, also as a layer where we can then have partners build add-ons to the product that help customers differentiate and so on. And therefore, as for public cloud, is really our next generation SaaS ERP platform that we are building and evolving now over the next couple of years to really support the business of hopefully many customers and new customers that want to join the SAP family.
Amazing. So flexible, helps customers get off the ground quickly. And like I said, this new generation of the SaaS experience, which I've heard you say a couple times. So this SaaS experience that you're talking about. So this is something that we're trying to provide for every business need, customers of all sizes. But before we get into that, this ERP is something that we're really trying to push right now. SAP S/4HANA Cloud in general. It's a part of SAP's core overarching strategy. Why this big push? What are we trying so hard to accomplish with these ERP systems?
Well, I think if you look back into history a little bit, especially where our install base is, they have built over decades. Actually, they've taken our software and they've put a lot of customization into the software, which on the one hand side gave them a lot of So they tailored their system basically so it fits exactly to the way they work. On the other hand, they became pretty much stuck, because it was harder and harder for them to upgrade. It was harder and harder for them to consume innovation that we would deliver. And frankly, they also realized that many of the processes that they have customized, they shouldn't have probably, because there's no differentiation for them. So there's no value generation in those processes. So now our customers experience a lot of change in the business environment, a lot of disruption, starting with COVID to the Ukraine war, supply chain disruption everywhere. And they really wonder, I mean, how can, I stay afloat? How can I increase my cash, basically? How can I make sure I can ship a product and satisfy the demand that I have? How can I work with my suppliers and so on? And they don't want to worry about a huge IT system that is customized and requires a whole lot of maintenance work. So therefore, everybody's looking into the cloud as in my mind, most superior model and platform to give the flexibility that they need. And of course, then they are looking to us, but also at the same point in time, they're looking to competitors. And I think as we are now transitioning those customers and fighting for new customers, we have to be absolutely on our toes. And it's really an inflection point now for us to take the lead again, also then in the cloud world with ERP, which we need to do, as I said, in order to be the #1 application, enterprise application company. And therefore, we have to find ways to take the customer with us, and we have to find ways to grow in face of a lot of competition that's out there, and different competition than we were used to in the last couple of years. So it is not only to support the transformation of our customers, it's also a transformation of SAP itself as we are transitioning into being a cloud company. And that's why we are pushing so hard on that. And that's why we want to take our customers with us and really to this transformation journey.
Amazing. So you don't see this strategy going anywhere, unlike the asparagus season that might end soon. But this is going to be around for a while.
No, I think we've been actually pretty consistent in the last couple of years that SAP is a company that needs to grow from the core, and that is ERP. And of course, customers are always looking for us for broad coverage of end-to-end processes, and that is much more than just S/4HANA or S/4HANA Cloud. And we talk about some of the assets that we have for the line of business in procurement and in CX and in HR. And it's absolutely important that those pieces fit together. And we've spent a lot of money and energy in making sure things work together and they come together in terms of integration and also the experience. And I feel we have been consistent. And then we start now innovating on top of it. And we're looking into trends like artificial intelligence and how we can use that in the business context to automate processes for customers, to help them drive additional insights, to really make the right decisions they have to make for their business. Or we're looking into sustainability as a topic that really goes across our entire portfolio, but it's anchored again in ERP, because that's the place where at the end of the day, the reporting needs to come out of and the accountability needs to come out of the same way as it is for the financial truth. So therefore, everything is kind of anchored in S4 Cloud, but then from there we can grow into additional spaces. And I think that strategy has been very consistent the last couple of years, and I see this to continue actually for the next couple of years to come, for sure.
That's great to hear. And so we have a thriving partner ecosystem and customers of all different sizes, ranging from startups to massive global companies. How do the benefits and the capabilities to customers of different sizes and do these strategies translate? Are they both reaping the same benefits, or do the SMEs have different opportunities or different reasons than these larger enterprises to use SAP for HANA Cloud Public Edition?
Yeah, I think at the end, I don't think SMEs have easier processes than large enterprises. I think they don't have the luxury of so much customization, so to speak, and they usually don't have large IT departments. So that means, of course, the capability in the software, they need to be strong and they need to be deep, and they need to be able to support complex business processes and to support then companies of all sizes, of course. I think the main difference is that in the mid-market, I see more willingness actually for companies to really adopt a standard software package and not so much have the tendency to tweak it left and right, especially for the processes that are non-differentiating. So I mean, there's much more acceptance on that. And then of course there's always differentiating processes for small companies as it is for large companies. And then there's always two options. One is to do a custom build then on the business technology platform, or to leverage partner products. And often those are industry specific capabilities where partners see great business opportunity at a smaller scale, actually, where they say, hey, if I can address this to 100, 200 customers, it's highly attractive to me. Whereas SAP might say, no, I really look for more generic capabilities to be sold to thousands of customers. So therefore, I don't necessarily see the big difference in terms of process complexity, but of course, organizational complexity, size of IT departments, politics, everything plays a role, especially when companies become larger. And therefore, we do have also the S/4HANA Cloud Private Edition specifically for our install base to make the transition easier. Even though we do see in S/4HANA Cloud Public Edition also large companies like PwC or Schneider Electric that are embarking on this journey now, but it is a really business-driven transformational journey. This is not an IT or technical journey that they are on, because otherwise they couldn't adopt kind of the model of a SaaS solution.
Okay. And maybe this is a good time to touch on this new offering that we've just come out with. Speaking of cloud transformation and the smaller businesses, grow with SAP. Where does that fit into the strategy, and how does it relate to RISE?
Yeah, so first of all, RISE, of course, remains our flagship offering from a go-to-market perspective. And we launched that in 2021, and we saw tremendous market success. And at the core of RISE is both S/4HANA Cloud Private Edition or Public Edition, and it will remain that way. However, in reality, the majority of customers were actually picking S/4HANA Cloud Private Edition. And we had the feeling that, it became really difficult to come through with our public cloud offering. And we were also struggling, in clearly positioning it to a target audience. So that's why we decided to create a second go-to-market motion. And often we have the tendency, to compare things and say, okay, why is RISE different than Grow? Is it complementary? Is it overlapping? And I think it's truly, those are two different things, because with Grow, we are addressing net new name customers primarily and mid-market customers with S/4HANA Cloud Public Edition only. And so this is really a vehicle for S/4HANA Public Cloud to gain net new names and primarily in the mid-market. And with that, for the first time in a very long time in my mind, we are actively now addressing a mid-market audience with an ERP offering. We used to have by design, but that has already the last couple of years died down quite a bit, also in how we have messaged and communicated to the market. And S/4HANA Cloud Public Edition now under Grow is our flagship offering also for this audience. That doesn't mean that S/4HANA Cloud Public Edition doesn't work for a large enterprise, or we wouldn't sell it under RISE anymore. We wouldn't sell it to install base, but you have to create clear offerings so people understand actually what the primary motion is. And therefore, I think Grow will be really the main motion for us to drive new business into SAP in the ERP space with S/4HANA Cloud Public Edition front and center of it.
Okay, so they're two separate beasts, all with a kind of a shared vision of transforming into the cloud, but two very separate offerings. Okay, so let's shift gears a little bit into the role of the partner, to the role of the audience listening today. We look at them in terms of how they engage with the customers. The empowering innovation with our developing and innovation partners, expanding our market reach with our selling partners, and enabling transformation with our advising and integration partners. How do they help this cloud strategy, and what are the benefits to them in helping all of this?
Yeah, I think SAP has always had a very, very strong ecosystem. I believe this was one of the core strengths. I personally think that in the public cloud and the SaaS world, this is even more important, because what's clear also, and that goes back to our tendency to compare things, when I talk about S4 private cloud or public cloud, the goal is not to create some sort of feature parity or anything like that between the two. It's really two offerings, as I said, for two distinct groups. So that means also in the SaaS world, we will not rebuild everything we've ever built on-premise. And we see a lot of capabilities in on-premise that only found a few customers, frankly. And for us, it's clear there is no point to rebuild that now as a SaaS solution. So therefore, there is a big focus, of course, for me personally and my organization on build partners and how they can help actually fill white spaces. And we should be, or we will be much more open and also forthcoming with talking to our partner community and saying, hey, this is where we need partners to fill in those spots to actually get them to the full picture again. So that's why this is super important to complement the foundational solution, which S/4HANA Cloud Public Edition is. Build differentiating capabilities on top of it, often industry-specific one. So therefore, partners play a huge role in this context. The second one, you mentioned that as well, is really our selling partners. At the same point in time, they should also be our implementing partners, because I personally believe 70-ish% of the business in the public cloud should actually be driven through the channel. And really finding and helping partners to create a business around S/4HANA Cloud Public Edition, find the right customers actually to sell it to them, and then implement it with those customers, and then continue to grow the footprint and upsell, which is absolutely key, especially in the SaaS world, that we start often small and then expand the footprint and drive usage very actively with our customers, and then offer them upsell opportunities and path there. So we really look more into the lifetime value of our customers. So that's really another angle where partners are extremely critical for us to work with. That's why, the partner play angle is huge, especially in the public cloud.
Amazing. And every day it's becoming more and more clear with our strategy, how, like you said, how critical partners are. We have so many events coming up throughout 2023, these big tier 1 customer facing events that partners can attend. And we have, this new dedicated partner series, preceding all of these events to provide them with all the information that they need, regardless of what type of partner they are. So, keep an eye out for those. So for the partners listening, they want to get involved. Excuse me. They want to grow. They want to use this to help their customers. What's your call to action to them? What do they do next when they hear this? What's next?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, we gotta really help our partners to build a business, right? And sometimes I think we need to also do more and be very close with them, and that's where we also have established now jointly with our partner organization, those partner councils where we get feedback from them and so on the experience that they have actually, starting with the experience with SAP and how to become a partner, then all the way to getting the hands on the products and demo systems, and then all the way to selling it to their customers and getting them implemented on board and so on. And this is something we really try to optimize. But if you ask for the call to action, of course, I would love for customers to really be interested and get their feet wet and really look into the opportunity. And if they see opportunity to really build an S/4HANA Cloud or Grow business, right? We do have a dedicated partner program for Grow, which we just launched at Sapphire. So that will evolve and we are rather selective here in partners, but everybody can embark on the S/4HANA Cloud or public cloud journey. And I would love to see more partners actually that are willing to build up such a practice and get on the train. I think what's important is that what's really difficult in the SaaS world is if you do one project or two projects a year. I think it's really important to get into this because you have to build up knowledge. Things change a lot actually in this world because we are developing a lot. And therefore you have to stay current. So there's significant investment behind that. And therefore I think it's really important to take this serious and say, this is not a little bit of a side thingy that I do, but rather I'm really serious in building this up. And I do want to create a good business for myself as a partner. So I think that is really the most important thing. Get yourself familiarized a little bit on what all this is. and then think about what could there be a business opportunity, and then reach out and let us build this together. And me and my team, we are also super open to support, and we actively do help also the partner community, with enablement, with knowledge transfer, and so on. And we know there is a lot of change, and this is something, there are lots of questions and so on. So we really need to we are sitting in the same boat, and we are in this together. So I just can extend an open invite for all partners who want to jump on the train with us.
Tremendous. Well, it's great to see we have this clear vision with ERP being at the top and partners playing a critical role in all of this. So partners, you heard Jan, if you want to reach out, you reach out to him. We're going to put links in the description, and we'll have all the associated links to help you guys use this and succeed with it. So Jan, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. But before I let you go, we have a staple question here to end it off here. If you were to have lunch with any famous person, celebrity, or icon for 30 minutes, who would it be?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm very much into soccer, and there's certainly a lot of very interesting personalities there. So I think somebody like Ronaldo, or one of those big soccer heroes, would be amazing to have lunch with and get to know. So I think I would pick that.
Okay, great. And I've noticed that we've had a couple other soccer answers as well on the podcast, but you're the first one from Germany that's called it soccer. So are you just saying that to be nice to me because I'm from North America, or what?
I lived for 10 years in the US actually, and every time I said football, people would be confused because because of the shape of the ball. So yes. I actually kind of almost picked up the soccer has become the default.
Okay, good. All right. Well, thank you again for joining. Partners, I hope you enjoyed. And Jan, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for tuning into this week's episode of the Out for Lunch podcast. And a big thank you to Jan for joining me in the diner. If you'd like to learn more about SAP S/4HANA Cloud Public Edition, please see the link in the description. And if you like the episode, please leave us a review on whatever platform you're listening on, or use the survey link in this episode description as well. Thanks again. Have a great day. And as always, stay hungry for more information.